You suffer more in your imagination than in reality. This very quote is the one that truly changed my perspective. Because look, I've read a lot of quotes. Maybe you've read a lot of quotes. But this one, I don't remember exactly when, at what time of my life. I think I read it when I was in like year 10, when I was like, how old would I was? Like 16, I was 16, 15, 16, 17 years old or something. And I remember reading that and it was like it hit me like a brick. Because that quote, if there was one quote that could like pretty much sum up my life, it would probably be that one. You suffer more in your imagination than in reality. You know, I got ambitions. You know what I'm saying? I got ambitions. Some of the things I want to do. I want to get better at public speaking. I want to get better at, being more social. I want to get better at showing my personality off more, not being afraid to, be myself. And I want, I got these ambitions that I want to do, and when I read this quote, it kind of all made sense. Now let's break down this quote and what it truly means. You suffer more in your imagination than in reality. By the way, it's said by Seneca. I didn't actually say who it was said by. It was said by Seneca, who was I believe he was a Greek. I think he was a Roman philosopher. You suffer more in your imagination than in reality. The quote just means that what we tend to do 9 times out of 10, majority of the time, what we do is that we assume the worst case scenario. And you've probably heard of this. I remember watching a video in high school, kind of outlining, how I think it was like 5 ways to like minimize anxiety, or it was something like that. Or it was like a video about stress and like why we stress, and then there was like 5 factors or something. There was like you imagine the worst case scenario. You think everyone is talking about you, or you assume, you get like the spotlight effect where, let's say you're walking down the street and then 2 people like look towards you and they're laughing. You might assume that like, oh, they're laughing because of my outfit, they're laughing because of my hair, they're laughing because I got 2 pimples, they're laughing because my hair looks like this, they're laughing because, you start overthinking that. And with this quote is that you imagine the worst. For example, I'm working at this job, but I don't want to work at the job anymore because I found another job. And I was going to go in person yesterday. So I went in person yesterday to the job to talk to my boss and just say, hey, look, I appreciate everything. I found another job. I got my hours at this job. And basically I was just going to thank him and just tell him that, hey, I'm not going to be working here anymore. Or I'm going to be stopped, or I'm going to stop working here for now. Maybe in the future I might come back, who knows. And I was just nervous. I was nervous, to walk in and tell him, and just talk to him and be like, hey, I got nervous. I started thinking, oh, what if he says, what's going to happen, And so, yesterday I went in, he wasn't there. So then yesterday I was going to go in, and then I just decided, all right, my dad was just like, oh, just call him, just call him and just explain it and just, talk to him. So then I did that. And again, I was nervous to make the phone call, but I did it, and now I'm fine, right? And I guess the main thing I'm trying to say is that whatever it is, there's been so many, you can imagine yourself, right? There's been so many instances in life where you're scared to do something, you're anxious to do something. Let me just give a few examples. Your driver's test, right? I had to do that, get my P's. Driver's test, taking the blood test. Public's like doing any form of presentation, especially in high school, right? We've all done presentations in high school. Doing a presentation, any form of public speaking, calling your boss, telling him, that you're not going to work there. There's so many examples. I could keep going, but I'm not. But there are so many examples where you're going to have to face an obstacle, you're going to have to face You know, just not even an obstacle. It's just there's going to be events in your life where you're going to be scared to do it. But what happens is that every time you do them, after the blood test, after the public presentation, after calling your boss and telling him something, after running the marathon, after going to the gym for the first time, you say, hey, that wasn't that bad. I made it seem, you know, we've all had that experience. We've all had that experience where you're really scared to do this thing. And then after you do it, you're like, hey, that wasn't that bad. Oh, that was fine. Why did I worry about that? That happens all the time for me. All the time. And you know, that's why I wanted to make the videos, because this quote is just, it relates to me so much. And well, what's the solution, Nathan? What's the solution? The solution is that everything in life that you think about and you think negatively about, everything in life that you're nervous for, that you're anxious for, it could be, again, bring it back to, like, you know, the public speaking, presentation. Bring it back to those sort of things, you know, putting yourself out there socially, meeting someone, going for a job interview. All of these things, beforehand, you're like, fuck. Like, you know, what if this goes wrong? What if this happens? But then after you do it, it's fine. You realize after you do it that you're still alive. You're still here. You're still breathing. Nothing's happened. You're not injured, right? Sometimes I like to think of it as, like, let's say just taking an example, let's say I'm going for a job interview. I just tell myself, I'm gonna survive. I'm not going to war, right? I'm not going to World War III. I didn't just get enlisted to World War III. I am not in danger. I'm not about to like fight like a cartel or whatever. Like, I'm not about to walk into like battle full of guns blazing, you know, explosions. That's not happening. I'm here for a job interview, right? So it's like, you need it. Like, I kind of just tell myself that, like, I'm not gonna die here, or hopefully I don't. I mean, there's a very, very low chance I die there, but like, I'm not getting injured. I'm not going into war. Why do I need to stress? I don't need to stress. You know what I'm saying? I kind of just tell myself that. This video is off the cuff. I don't got no notes, so I'm just talking off the dome. But yeah, I just wanted to speak about that. You know, because maybe you've, you know, had that same experience as me where, you know, presentation, job interview, calling your boss, telling him this, social outing you've never been before. You're going to a wedding, you've never been to a wedding. So you're a bit anxious. You're like, oh, I gotta make sure I look good. Oh, I gotta make sure I do. Right? You're gonna make sure all these things. But once you finish all of these things, once you walk out of the job interview, once the wedding is over, once the presentation is over, and you sit down in your chair, and then you go, oh, that wasn't as bad as I thought. It happens all the time. All the time. Countless times. It happens. Right? It just happens all the fucking time. So I just wanted to make this video. I don't really know what else to say. Like, maybe I should have, you know, had some like pointers to talk about. But I just wanted to make this video, yeah, just for you guys to understand that, dude, it's always better. It's never, when you imagine the worst case scenario, that never happens, right? Or it very, very, very rarely is going to actually happen, and rarely does happen. It is just all in your head, and it's fine. It's totally normal. It's a normal human thing, right? If we talk about the biological psychological, I was about to say psychological, but that's not a word. Psychological. If we look at the psychology and the biology behind why we imagine the worst case scenario, it's because of survival. Humans are made to survive. Over millions and millions and millions of years, our entire body, from like every little detail in our body, is designed for survival. Like, we have multiple layers of skin. our skin heals, like we heal. You know, have you ever thought it like that? Was a pretty cool concept. We heal. I mean, animals heal as well, but I swear not all of them heal. Like we legit heal, bro, over time, and we just heal. You know, we have 2 legs. We have 5 toes. Yeah, I got 5 toes. We got 5 fingers, 4 fingers, and a thumb. Like our entire existence is made to survive. Every little, you know, aspect of our brain, every little nerve and neuron, and like all this stuff, the amygdala, mid-anterior cingulate cortex, boom, I know that from Andrew Huberman. All of these things is made for survival. The same way when we stress about going for a job interview, when we stress for doing a public presentation, when we stress about these things, is because we don't want to be kicked out of the tribe. Humans, you've probably heard this before, but humans, when, you know, if you think back to, like, let's say you're living in a tribe, you're in the middle of the forest and you're living in a tribe. Your chances of survival are way more higher than if you were by yourself. Because if you're by yourself, you got to hunt yourself, you got to build a shelter, you got to find your own food, you got to, you know, stay warm, you got to do all this stuff, right, all by yourself. Whereas if you're in a tribe, you're looked after. The same way I'm living with my parents right now. If I didn't live with my parents, I'd be in shambles because I wouldn't know what the fuck to do. I'd have, like, you know, like I'd look under the, you know, like in the movies, how they give you like the letters under the door. I'd pick up the letter and be like, holy shit, I'm getting evicted tomorrow. Fuck. You know, I wouldn't know what to do. I think I'd figure it out, but it would be hard, like just cooking, maintaining. I don't even know how to do laundry, bro. I could learn it, but I don't know how to do it. That's pretty sad to say. Nathan doesn't know how to do laundry. That's going to be on the news. But we got sidetracked there. But yeah, humans were made to survive, right? So the thinking, when you think like, oh fuck, like when you imagine the worst case scenario, that's just your brain and your body telling you what, like it's telling you to prepare for the worst for survival, right? It's all for survival. It's all for survival. So again, you can't really like, it's not like, you can't blame yourself for thinking like this, like for getting nervous for a job interview. You can't really blame yourself. And sometimes you're nervous, but you're like, why am I nervous? Like you question it, but it's like, again, it's just a normal thing. How I've gone about, because I remember doing a presentation in year 8 science. It was year 8 science. So I was like 13, 14 years old. And I remember my teacher asked us, does anyone want to go first? And I put my hand straight up. That was my strategy. I had a strategy going in. I knew that I was going to go first. I knew that I was going to get it over and done with. And then I was going to sit back in my chair and I was going to relax. I'm not stressed. I'm not nervous. I'm going to watch everyone else do their presentation, you know, like, and I was confident that the day before I was in my bathroom, I was in front of my mirror and I was just practicing the speech, you know, going over it, and I was doing hand gestures, and I remember I added an image, and I explained what the image meant. By the way, the assignment was on like environment, it was on like climate change or something, I don't know, it was on something to do with the environment or whatever. And I had this graph, and it showed like the stages of vegetation, or the stages of like plant growth. And I was just like, all right, so this is the first stage, this is da-da-da-da, and then we're moving on to the second stage, and then this is the third stage. And I just kept explaining it. And I was confident in my ability. Maybe you don't have the confidence, at least not right now. But, you know, again, confidence is just, I'm talking about anything right now. The confidence comes from yourself and your own belief in yourself. Right? It comes from like, you know, like I make music, I know how, like I'm rapping, I'm creating videos, I'm creating montages, all of this, like learning how to edit videos, learning how to do any skill, dude, it takes time. You gotta believe in yourself, bro. It's like a fucking ant on my phone right now. But you gotta believe in yourself. You know what I'm saying? You gotta believe in yourself. Because you can obtain anything. You can be confident. A lot of people think, oh, Nathan, how are you confident? Nathan, how are you so confident? Mate, it's all in my head. It's all perception. But there's like a difference to it though, because it's like you could be like an absolute dickhead that's like, oh, I'm fucking better than everyone. Yeah, fuck yeah. You can be, you can be that guy and just be a fucking dickhead to everybody, be a douchebag to everyone. I'm not saying be that. I'm just saying, just know yourself. Like I knew, like when I did that presentation in year 8, when I was like 13, 14 in science class, I knew that like I've practiced this presentation, I've done it in front of the mirror, and I've done it really well. So all I got to do is walk in the next day, do the presentation, and do it the same as I did in the mirror. Was I nervous doing the presentation? Of fucking course I was. Obviously I was. People that say like, I don't get nervous, bro. Oh, I don't get nervous. Nah, they're lying. You are lying. Biologically speaking, you should get nervous. Look, I know like there's that one like solo free climber who like climbs the fucking mountains and shit, and like apparently his like fear response is like lowered. So like that's like, okay, well with science has said that, okay, this guy doesn't, like it's scientifically and biologically proven that this guy does have less fear than me. Fair enough. And I understand like a lot of the athletes, right, they probably don't get that nervous, to be honest. Like when they're playing, like for example, take any like football player, like Haaland, Mo Salah, take Michael Jordan, take Ronaldo, Messi. Like these guys, they probably don't get that nervous when they're playing. If it's like World Cup final, they would be getting nervous, like surely, right? I don't think there would be like slightly nerves, right? There would be like slight nerves. But I don't know if they would be fully, like if I was playing the World Cup final, I'd be fucking shitting myself. But for them, that's not, right? But you can understand different circumstance. But I just knew that, right, I'm gonna get up, I'm gonna do this presentation, because it's like, what the fuck is going on? It's like something, it's like, what does that symbol mean? It's like something I'm like, oh, I'm like overheating. How? Okay, I'm just gonna wrap this up. I'm gonna wrap the video up. You suffer more in your imagination than you do in reality. It's true, it's a true quote. Take it from my personal experience. Believe in yourself. Be confident. When I was doing that presentation in year 8, I was confident. I believed in my ability. I knew that I could go in there and I could, like stand up straight and I can be like, yeah, so this is it and this is that. Like I knew I could do that, bro. So why don't you be confident? And you gotta have passion for it. Like I was passionate about public speaking. I still quite am passionate about public speaking. I mean, I'm talking to a camera right now, right? But I'm still passionate about it and like expressing my opinion and stuff. But I'm not the best at it. Like, let's say there was like 100 people watching me right now, listening, I'd be shitting myself. In front of a camera, it's fine, because it's not real, it's not a human being. Okay, I feel like we're just gonna end the video. You're gonna be more confident in yourself, and you are going to not think about things as much. Just think about what's happening right now. Lately, I've been thinking about, I just said I was gonna end the video, I'm not now. Lately, I've been thinking about housing crisis, getting a job. Getting a job in 2026 is impossible. I've been kind of depressed maxing. I don't like using the word maxing. Oh, look, I'm looks right there. I'm this maxing. Like I don't like using that terminology and shit. I think it's like, kind of dumb. It's pretty dumb. But but for lack of a better term, I've been like depressed maxing, I guess, in a way. Like I've been watching videos, my phone just went off. I've been watching videos on like cost of living 2026 is terrible. And I'm watching like other sort of videos where it's like getting a job in 2026 is impossible and all this other stuff. And it does get to me, it makes me think like, fuck, dude. Why, let me just be broke and like just like hike every day, or let me just be broke and like just, I was gonna say travel the world, but it's hard to do that. You can do that. You would need money, but you can do it if you stay at hostels and you try and you minimize how much you eat, and like you buy cheap food from the grocery store and stuff. take it one step at a time, do what you love, and the success will follow. But yet you suffer more in your imagination than in reality. Quote by Seneca. It's the realest quote I've ever read, and it will be my favorite quote. This is my favorite quote because it relates to me so much on so many different levels. Again, it's been your boy Nathan. I really appreciate you watching. Yeah, see ya. That's it, man. That's it, brother.